What's up, Under Pressure? It's your boy JOE GARQUE coming to you live from Sydney, Australia in the Circular Quay, right near on the steps of the historic Sydney Opera House and with the Sydney Harbour Bridge right behind. So this is going to be my video contribution for year 25, and this is what I think it's going to be. I've been with the festival every single year that there has ever been one, as well as a few years and a couple of years before when it actually wasn't even under pressure. I'm the coordinator for the volunteers. That basically entails being in charge for the setup, the takedown, and on-site logistics. I'm responsible for heading up the security teams and posting people, making sure that the problem-solving aspect of the day-to-day of the fairs happens. I have been working closely with the planning team for many years, and I've been involved on almost every level. Really interesting because what started as a few friends getting together over time became more of a family, and that's ultimately how I consider anyone who works with us having done Under Pressure. Volunteers, b-boys who participate in the comps, MCs, DJs. Honestly, I think that anyone who's been or has, sweat, bled, and cried with us is a family member, and that's how I always consider all the volunteers. So it's a lot of work to do Under Pressure, and I get asked often, why do I keep coming back? And it's because mostly for the family and the community aspect. It's the one time a year when I get to see friends and people I haven't seen in over a year. And we come from all over, whether it's artists or event coordinators or volunteers or even just spectators. They come from far and wide, and I think that this is ultimately why I keep coming back. It's to be part of that family, to be part of that community, to give back, no matter how difficult it may be sometimes. So that's ultimately why I keep coming back. You know what? We've had a bunch of inside jokes that were slogans for decades, and I think looking back on it now as we get to 25 and changing the way that we do things, it's Under Pressure for life. I think that's what it is, right? It's the 5 elements of hip-hop. And I think that was the basis of why I kind of got started. MCing, DJing, b-boying, graffiti, and the knowledge, right? People forget that the 5th element is the knowledge to put it together to improve the community. And that's ultimately the reason why we got there. A lot of our culture was misrepresented in the 90s and late 80s, and we wanted to, make people aware that it wasn't this gangster, criminal, seedy, destructive force, and that it could be something that could improve a community. And putting ourselves out there when no one else was doing it, I think was a big step, and to be doing it 25 years later is a testament to what a community willing to sacrifice can accomplish. I think it's easy for me to say that the first one would be my favorite. I think the 10-year anniversary was a big one for us. Hitting 10 years was a landmark for a lot of the volunteers in the community to realize that we weren't just gonna fade away, and that we were just gonna disappear quietly in the nights. I think I joke a lot that my favorite one will be my last one, whatever year that may be. So I think the 10th year or my last one is my favorite edition of Under Pressure. My favorite pieces that I've had or that I've seen at the festival, there's a number of works that have caught my eye over the years and the many decades. But I think, you know, when you're so entrenched in working, you don't really get a time to fully appreciate them until it's all said and done at the end of the festival. So, you know, looking back, I think that there was the Alpha Rats in 98, 99, who did the side of the Old York Theatre when we were on St. Catherine for a couple of years. They did this dope piece where all the artists did self-portraits of them wearing spray paint masks and holding up serial numbers, saying that they were not criminals for doing graffiti. Fear and Loathing by the K6A crew on the Fufun wall is a classic piece. Anything by the Crazy Apes. We had a lot of guys. Water did 3D outlines. You know, even Flo has done some pieces that I've over a couple of years that I've really liked. So, you know, there's been a gaggle of things and artists that have caught my eye, but I think those are the main two. Yeah, I think those are the ones that really stuck with me the most. Which artist inspires me? I think that from a graffiti aspect, in terms of the art, the big crews that have been doing productions, K6A, Crazy Apes, 808s, a lot of these guys and girls have been for a long time inspiring in terms of the aesthetic and, you know, the evolution of graffiti and the street art. However, I think now in my twilight years, the artists that influence me the most are the ones who find other things to do and find other ways to push the culture forward. C's, you know, being the founding father with Flo for this event, you know, at first you're just part of this thing, you don't realize what kind of impact it's going to have on your life. But I think looking back now, that they've had a major influence, you know, and all the other artists and friends who've come and gone and have stuck with us over these 2.5 decades have really influenced me, and not just because of their talent, but because of what they've been able to accomplish, or how they're still in the game and how they're still trying to reinvent the culture and move it forward even to this, you know, 2020 era. There's a lot of anecdotes. I mean, after 26 years, you're going to have war stories or little inside jokes that you can have, and there's many of them I would like to tell, but I think that due to certain political affiliations with the city of Montreal, a certain deputy mayor wouldn't appreciate my retelling of some of his darker years. So I'll leave a quick anecdote that I've never missed a year of Under Pressure. And 1 year, having worked at a summer camp, I had permission for one of my kids at the camp to come with me to volunteer. And my all-time favorite was at the end of volunteering, he was asleep on the scaffolding. And there's a picture of it that Flo had taken, and it's still one of my fondest memories in terms of the festival. So there's a little anecdote for you. I think my favorite moment of the festival is probably the day after it's done and the trucks pull up to take the scaffolding and all the stuff away, and when, you know, they drag it all off the parking lot and off the site and everything's put away, you actually have a moment to really take it all in and breathe on it and really absorb what you've accomplished and how important it is to the community and that you had a small part to play. And when you're standing there with your brothers and sisters or your co-workers or your co-volunteers, you know, it's nice to say that you were involved with this. So that's probably my favorite moments, right after the festival's done. Sydney is very much like Montreal in a lot of ways, diametrically opposite in terms of weather. They got 3 months of winter, and believe it or not, this is winter right now. So the best thing about Montreal, and I think it has to be the community, the people. It's really, you talk about melting pots all across Canada and the eastern seaboard and in North America, but I think that the French and English language there, with the multi-diverse ethnic groups that have landed and made their mark in a city like Montreal has allowed for so much diversity and culture and richness to a tapestry that all seeps into hip-hop, and we're seeing a lot of that across the board. So I think that's one of the best things about Montreal. Also bagels and poutine. UP25, my wish is that we don't stop. I don't want this COVID thing to be the end of it for us. I think that's finding new ways to evolve, whether online, is really an important evolution to our festival. I think that there are other festivals out there, I'm not going to say any names, that are financially incentivized, and I think that being a grassroots community, we have the potential to keep going with the lack of funds, and that when their money dries up, who's going to support them? Maybe they'll find people, maybe they won't, but we have managed 25 years, and I think that my wish for UP is that we keep going, maybe even another 25. Quick shout out to all the people back home, MTL fam, all the Under Pressure volunteers, all the planning staff, all the b-boys, artists, MCs, DJs, community activists, everyone back home in Montreal. We miss you, we love you. You know, UP isn't anything without your involvement. One love to Sharon, MTL, we miss you so much. Hopefully I'll see you for 2-6, so 25, Under Pressure.